2, 1.
Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the order of operations. You may have heard about the order of operations back in 5th grade, and you probably were told about Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, a great way to remember the order. And each one of those P, E, M, D, A, and S stand for a mathematical process that you will need to do. And that is parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. That is our actual order of operations. Notice that multiplication and division are on the same row, and that's really important. You don't always do multiplication before you do division, and you don't always do addition before you do subtraction. It has to go whichever one comes first in the problem, working left to right. So our first example, we have 3 times 5 plus the quantity of 15 minus 8. One of the things that I want you guys to always do whenever you're working an order of operations problem and you're having to evaluate the expression is to write PEMDAS right beside. That's going to be like a checklist for you as you're working to make sure that you've completed every step before you move on to the next row. So parentheses are first, and in this problem there is a parentheses. So we are going to complete what's inside the parentheses first. So 15 minus 8 is 7. Now I'm going to bring everything else down. What I like to do is mark out the part that we've already completed so that we don't bring that down. And notice I moved away from this X for multiply and moved it to a dot because that's kind of what you're going to see a lot more in middle school. So I'm going to mark out my P because I've completed my parentheses. In this problem, there are no exponents. So we can mark out my exponents. I have multiplication or division. I need to look left to right in the problem. And I do have multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15. And I'm going to mark it out because I'm done with the 3 times 5 and bring everything else down. One thing I want you to make sure of, guys, is do not try and combine steps. Do not try and think, oh, well, I can just do 2 things at once. Nope, you're going to make a mistake if you do that. So don't do that. I'm going to mark out my M because I don't have any more multiplication. I didn't have any division. And I'm left with add and subtract. And I do have addition, subtraction. I have addition. So 15 plus 7 gives me 22. And I can mark that out. Mark out the 15 plus 7 because I completed it. And I circle and make sure that I have a Dorito. So guys, you want to make sure that you have a triangle shape. I always call it a Dorito because it looks like a Dorito chip. So in this problem, we've evaluated this expression. We have solved it, and it does equal 22. Let's take a look at another example. Beside every problem, we're going to write our checklist. Yes, 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 I want to see that every single time. Okay, so as I look at this problem, there's no parentheses. Yay, mark it off. There's no exponents. Yay, mark it off. Multiply or divide. In this problem, I have a division, 8 divided by 4, and that is 2. Then I'm going to mark that off because I am done with the 8 divided by 4. Bring everything else down. So I've marked out my M for multiply. There was no division. Add and subtract. So I'm looking at this problem, and I have both addition and subtraction. Well, I can't just do addition because it comes first in my checklist. The reason that I'm going to do addition first is because addition comes first in my problem when I move left to right. So I'm starting over here, and I see addition first, so that's why I have to do the 16 plus 2 first. 16 plus 2 is 18. Then mark it out and bring down your minus 2. Now I can do my subtraction, 18 minus 2, which is 16. Mark that out because I'm finished with it. Circle and check that you have a Dorito. Okay, in my next example, I am going to write my checklist, PEMDAS every time. And I don't have parentheses, yay. I don't have exponents, yay. I do have multiplication and division. Now in this problem, I'm going to look left to right. When I look left to right, the division is what comes first. So I have to do the division first in this problem. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Mark it out and bring everything else down. Now, I marked out my D because I had done my division, but I have still not marked out my multiplication because I'm not done with multiplication yet. I still have multiplication I need to do. 8 times 3 is 24. Mark it out. Bring everything else down. Now I can mark off my M for multiplication, and I have add and subtract left, which I can add 24 plus 8. That gives me 32. Mark it out, circle, and a Dorito. So all of these examples that we've done so far have kind of been 5th grade examples because they did not have that exponent component in. And bringing in the exponents in PEMDAS really ups the level to a 6th grade concept. So speaking of that, we're going to take a look at a expression that has an exponent. So I'm going to write my checklist, PEMDAS, and there's no parentheses, mark it out. There is an exponent. Now, guys, I want you to be very, 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 very careful. 7 squared, or 7 to the 2nd power, does not mean 7 times 2. If you have to, rewrite it as 7 times 7 above it. That way you don't make that mistake. So I've got to evaluate that part first. 7 to the 2nd power is 49. Now I'm going to mark that out and bring everything else down. And then I'm done with my exponents. I have multiply and divide. So I'm going to multiply 6 times 2, and that's 12. Mark that out. Bring everything else down. And now I just have an addition problem. 49 plus 12. I'm going to go to Scratch World. 9, 10, 11. Regroup. 4, 5, 6. That gives me 61. Circle it. Check that it has a Dorito. And you're good. There's one more that I want to take a look at. And really want to take a look at this one. Because when I look at this one, not only does it incorporate order of operations, but it also incorporates our exponents that we've taken a look at earlier in the year. So I'm going to write my PEMDAS. PEMDAS for life, guys. P, I have parentheses. Underline my my parentheses, 12 minus 4 is 8. Mark it out and bring everything else down. Ooh, notice there's a negative there. Mark out my P. No exponents. Multiply, divide. I do have multiplication and division, but I'm going to do the division first because it comes first in the problem. Now, 25 divided by a negative 5. 25 divided by negative 5. I have to remember my rules from multiplication and division of integers. When the signs are the same, your answer is positive. When your signs are different, your answer is negative. 25 divided by negative 5 is a negative 5. Mark that whole part out. Bring everything else down. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, yay, I did my division, I'm done. But I still have a multiplication that I have to take care of. 6 times 8 is 48. Mark that out. Bring everything else down. And now I have addition and subtraction. The combining combining integers, 48 and a negative 5. Now, on this problem, the signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to go to Scratch World, and that gives me 43, but 48 is further from 0, has a bigger absolute value. So 43 positives is my answer. So just because it has a negative, nothing about it changes as far as the order of operations. You still complete PEMDAS in that order. And guys, PEMDAS needs to be like embedded in your head. It is super, super important. If you decide to go whichever way you want to go, you're going to get the wrong answer. You have to go in the order. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, left to right, add and subtract, left to right. Hope this helps. Thanks.